All right, second grade. Now we're going to talk about our quarter notes. So quarter note is kind of a weird name, isn't it? Quarter note. Think about other things that you know that are called quarters, like money. How many quarters are there in a dollar? There's 4 quarters in a dollar. When you learned how to tell time last year in math, 15 minutes was a quarter of an hour. Quarter is another way to write 1/4. I'm getting a different marker here. So even if you think about, like, if you have a cake, 1 out of 4 pieces is a quarter of the cake. So 1 out of 4 is just another way to say a quarter. So a quarter note gets 1 out of our 4 beats. We're still going to count them ta, 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 ta. But now when I say what is this note, you're going to say it's a quarter note. A quarter rest has the same idea. It's just instead of making a sound, you're going to be quiet for that beat. So if I put a quarter rest on beat 2, you'd have ta, sh, ta, ta. Or if I'm playing it on a drum. Beat 2 is still there, but we don't make a sound during it. So quarter notes and quarter rest get 1 beat. A quarter note gets 1 beat of sound. A quarter rest gets 1 beat of silence. Now the next note, what we used to call TT, we still count it like that, but we're calling them 8th notes. 8th notes is 2 sounds in 1 beat, like this. So if I have 2 sounds in each of my beats, how many sounds am I going to have? 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. Because remember, each of the circle parts, each of the note heads is a sound. How many note heads, how many sounds do you see in this measure? 8. So each one of these note heads is 1/8 of the sound of the measure. That's why they're called 8th notes. Now they're called 8th notes with an S at the end. It's plural because there's 2 of them in a beat. Very occasionally right now you will see an 8th note by itself. An 8th note by itself looks like that. Looks like a quarter note with this cute little flag on it. That's actually the official name for that little squiggly line. It's called a flag. Goodness, there you go. But for right now, most of the time when you guys see 8th notes, you're going to see them with a buddy. So we normally see them like this right now. So 8th notes. You're really not going to see an 8th rest right now. If we have a rest in here, it's going to be a quarter rest. Okay. Then one more. It gets a little bit trickier. Sometimes, and you're going to see this pretty soon actually, we can have 4 sounds in 1 beat. So if I have 4 sounds in 1 beat, let's see, think about how many sounds that would be in my measure. How many sounds would that be? 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. That's going to be 16. 16 sounds in my measure. Each one of these sounds is a 16th note. We have 4 16th notes in that beat. So there's 4 sounds in that measure. So it's pretty cool. Some of you are probably thinking, is this music or math class? Yes. Rhythms are math. Rhythms are actually a 4th grade math skill called adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. That sounds really fancy. All it is in music, we call it rhythm. You've been doing it since you were 5 years old. So we have 16th notes. Our 8th notes, they went off the board here, sorry. 8th notes, we have our quarter note, our half note, and our whole note. Sorry, I wrote that too low, you can't see it. And our whole note. We also have a quarter rest, a half rest, and a whole rest. That's a lot of new words today. Don't stress if you're not remembering them yet. We have all year to get these words into our brains. We have lots of games we're going to play this year that's going to help us. We're going to use these words a lot, so you will get these words. So don't stress, just bear with me. If there's anything that's really confusing, you can type it in the posts. If you are one of my friends that's online, my friends that are with me are going to go on and do a different activity. Those of you that are online are free to go, and I will see you next week.